traditional editor receives a manuscript and they ask the question, is this manuscript something that the market wants? I can do the opposite, right? I can look at data that tells me this is popping up, and I can put it together and package it into a book that then I put out there, and the market is like, oh, that's exactly what I wanted, right?
Well, it's so curious, right? Because like kids are so fickle, and
Yep.
what blows up with kids, you just never you never know. You never know what the next big thing is with them, and but you also like I'm trying to wrap my head around this because with kids, you also like you're pushing the market, and they're pushing the market, but yet their buying power is through their parents. So I'm curious how
Mhm.
a writer breaks into this market when it's being pushed in all these different directions.
Oh, I love that.
Yes,
How do you appeal to the kids and the parents at once, and the people who buy it, who look at the data?
that is a key question to my work because we always talk about what is called dual address. Is this book speaking to the parent who has to buy it as well as the child who's going to read it? And with children's book today is really interesting because most of the time parents are the gatekeepers, right? They decide, is this something that you are allowed to read or not? In entertainment publishing, the rule is you want the books to be funny, right? You want the books to be exhilarating and hilarious. Kids want to read because they want to have fun. They have been told that if you read, you learn a lot, but they want to read to have fun, right? And if you can make a child love reading because they connected with having fun, they're going to be readers forever, right? So when I think about that, I'm like, what is funny to a child is not funny to an adult, right? Like it's not, they're not always overlapping. And sometimes the humor that children like is not exactly what parents consider appropriate, right? Especially in the middle grade space. But it's exactly about finding that sweet spot between making the child feel I am reading something that I should not be reading right now, and the parent thinking like, yeah, they're reading something that maybe it's a little bit like edgy, but at the same time they're reading, and that's all that matters, right? But it's not easy. I can give you an example. The big series, something like Dogman, right? I haven't worked on Dogman, right? But something like that, the humor is something that some parents are like, I don't understand that humor, right? But kids are obsessed with it. And it's all about the fact that the team that is working on that series has been able to find that sweet spot where parents are like, I want my children to read. Maybe this is not exactly what I would buy for them if I could choose, but it's great and they love it. And that's the best answer that I can give you because it's really hard. And also, you were asking me about the people who are buying the books. Most of the time, you're just going to be represented by an agent who understands IP and that can let editors know, hey, this is a great person to write anything like for Pokemon because they just love the brand, something like that. Yes. So when a publisher has a book ready and they are ready to launch a new season, they have to sell books into stores. So Walmart, Target, Amazon, and there is a buyer there that is the children's buyer, and they're in charge of deciding, are we buying these books and putting them into the stores for the next season? And they have to be convinced that what you're presenting to them is going to work, right? And because most of the time what I'm working on isn't associated with a big name, just with a big brand, I have to tell them this is exactly what this brand needs right now and what the market wants. So you're convincing the buyer at Target before you can convince the parent and then convince the child. So it's a lot of convincing.